Welcome everyone to the Thursday, April 16th meeting of your Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club. First virtual Zoom meeting in this club's history, so thank you all for being part of that. I have more comments I'll make later, but we're going to go to Pastor Shane Webb. Shane, there you are. Shane is going to open our meeting in prayer.
All right, let's pray, y'all. Holy God, we come before you humbly this day. I'm praying that our technology works, that we're able to enjoy some virtual fellowship with one another. And God, in these anxious times, we pray for your peace. We ask that you would give us discernment to find the ways that as a Rotary Club, we might be able to help and serve our neighbors, both as a club and as individuals. God, we want to continue to seek the truth. And we want to be people who can help those who are in the most need during this difficult time. Lord, I pray for all who are gathered with us, those who are not able to join us today. And God, we especially lift up this day those who are suffering from the effects of coronavirus, both physically, emotionally, mentally, and those who are now starting to suffer financially because of this crisis. God, we commend them to your hands. And we ask that you would continue to be present in our lives and help us to be the loving kindness that you need us to be. And we ask this in your merciful name. Amen.
Picture of a flag behind you. Josh Farrar was going to do our pledge, but he hasn't joined our meeting yet. So Rick Lindsay, I'm going to push you on the spot. Would you lead us in the pledge to the flag?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. If you'd all put your hand over your heart, repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. Thank you.
Well done, Mr. Lindsay. Thank you. And we're going to go into our Rotary song now. So Jordan's getting that queued up for us. You're welcome to sing along. Your microphone will be off while you're singing, so you don't have to worry about anybody else hearing your singing voice. But yes, Bob gives us a thumbs up on that. So you can just bellow out like you're in the shower or outside and walking the trail. So Jordan, you ready? All right, here we go.
R-O-T-A-R-Y, that's Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y is known how to see. From north to south, from east to west, the prophet most who serves the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y is one great family.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that rendition of Rotary. I did speak with Neil and Sandra today. They said they didn't think they could lead us in song today, but they're going to hopefully be able to join us in song next week. So that'll be exciting if that happens. Before I go to our recognition of visitors, let me just think we've got everybody in the group. So my son Jordan is acting as the host. As other people come to join, he'll get them in the meeting, make sure they've got their microphones and their videos on. So he may be working behind the scenes there. We are recording this Rotary Club meeting, so it'll be posted on our website and various social media, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. As best we can, and if you have a question for me or for the speaker or have a comment, you can either raise your hand or raise your hand digitally on your computer screen. But you'll see that square bar bounce around based on whoever is speaking at the moment. So let me go into our recognition of visitors and guests. I don't see any visiting or guest of members, but let's just start off first. Our District Governor, Beverly Grogan's here. Beverly, welcome.
A pleasure.
Hello,
to
Beverly.
Be Thanks.
We're glad you're here. We'll have you share in a few minutes about District 5810. John Mosier, our District Governor-elect, is here. Welcome, John.
Thank you very much.
Glad you could join us. There's our District Governor nominee, Max Duplant, popped in there. How are you, Max?
Technology problems.
What?
I worked about 25 minutes to get in and still am not fully able to use all the functions, but I'm here.
We can see you. We're glad you're here. You could have photoshopped a picture, but you got all dressed up for the meeting and everything. So we appreciate that. Assistant District Governor Lori Crider is here. So Lori, welcome. We're glad you're joining us today. All right. Wait a minute. We got your mic still muted there. Jordan, unmute Lori, or Lori, hit your space bar. Except you're on your phone, you don't have a space bar. There you go.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. Thank you. It's great to be here. I've missed seeing y'all. Good to virtually see you.
Yeah, it is good to virtually see anybody today, isn't it?
It is.
So, unofficial poll, how many of you walked more in the last 4 weeks than you've walked in the last 4 years? Anybody getting out and enjoying the outdoors? That's been fun. Hope you found ways to be safe, but to stay healthy, all right? We're going to move on into the program portion of our meeting. I'd asked Max to give us a quick update on the grants, and we just right before we went into the shelter at home, Max called me and said we had an opportunity for a grant. So Max, tell them about the grant and how we've been able to take advantage of that.
Well, thank you. Due to Beverly's great leadership and the people who work with our foundation and grants, we were able to identify some monies that could be used for food bank programs. And so, but it was a limited amount of money. So there was enough to give about 16 clubs $1,250 each in matching grants. And so because our club has so often tried to work with various organizations that do provide food to others, I called Robert and said, can we get a match on this? And he said, yeah. So the end result is the Irving School Foundation will receive $1,500 and Crisis Ministries will receive $1,000. $1,250 of that comes from our club, $1,250 if that comes from a district grant. Now, we had already received $3,250 in district grants. So that brings our total to the year to $4,500, which is just, I think, fantastic in enabling us to go out and help those others in our communities that really need it.
Thank you, Max. That's great. Appreciate your leadership. Crystal, would you like to maybe share briefly about how the school's foundation's using that to help some of the students sheltering in place during this time?
Sure. And thank you to Max, and thank you to Beverly for suggesting this. It is a really heartbreaking time at the school's foundation with our Food for Thought program. Prior to the school closure, we were serving 1,300 kids a week, providing them with weekend and evening meals. So we already knew that we were in a dire situation. And then now with the schools being closed, where so many of our kids get their daily meals of breakfast and lunch, with 100% of our kids receiving that from the federal program, we knew that this would be a huge impact on our kids. Now, the school district's still providing breakfast and lunch if the kids can make it to, they have 12 schools now identified where people can pick up food. But what we're doing with the funds is we're providing the dinner meals. So the school district's doing the breakfast and lunch, and we're providing dinner meal kits. So each of those kits costs about $6, and the $6 kit will feed a family of 5 for at least 3 to 4 days. Because it's things like bags of rice, bags of beans, things that will sustain them for a lot longer. So the money is going to a great cause, and we've had some wonderful feedback from our families. We've had quite a few parents being in the area that we are in Irving. We have a lot of our families that work in hospitality at our hotels and various restaurants, and so a lot of them have lost their jobs. We've had quite a few parents actually catch COVID-19, and so we had a really sad story. Dad had just died in January, and now Mom has the virus, and so she's in ICU, and the kids were kind of left by themselves, and luckily an aunt took them in. So just want to let y'all know that the money is going to a great cause, and it's definitely being received very well by the schools and by the students. So thank y'all.
Thank you, Crystal. John, would you like to share briefly about how Crisis Ministry is helping to get some of the food to some of the families facing difficulty at this time?
Certainly. We did use the check for food for families. The check was enough to provide groceries for probably 200 families for 2 weeks. So it was not only needed, but appreciated. And, it's amazing. We are providing food for up to 600 families a week and those families can come every 2 weeks and be restocked, so to speak. So, we thank the district, and we thank also my club, Las Colinas, for stepping up and helping at a time of need.
Well, John, thank you for that, and thank you for being there and being available to help in such a powerful way. Crystal, what an amazing story. Glad we could have some funds available at the right time to help out as well. Max, you have anything else you want to say about that grant or anything else?
There's a lot of things going on at the district because of everybody else you have online. I'm going to save that part for them. All
right. Well, Beverly, why don't we start with you? And we've got John and Lori, so you can all three talk in a moment, but we'll start with Beverly. John, then we'll go to you, and then Lori, if you have anything you'd like to share. So Beverly, any update as far as how the district's handling this COVID-19 or anything
as a matter of fact,
you'd like to be aware of?
Thank you, Robert. I will tell you, I'm really proud of 5810. We have not missed a beat. We took a few weeks off. Some of our clubs did, but I want you to know your district team didn't take any time off because, as you know, our foundation team has really worked hard. The governor chain has worked behind the scenes as we try our very best to see what we can do to help the local team. We are very pleased that we were able to free up about $43,000, and we didn't have that all in DDF to give. We also went to our finance committee, got some money from the operating fund because you don't have to send John and I to Hawaii this year. You don't have to send, we're not going to be spending the money on the district conference face to face. And so as a result, that we took that freed up money and pulled that over. And so we were able to fund everyone who had asked for the money on that short term. The reason I think you ought to be proud of yourselves as a district is, you know, when you do grants, everybody had already done all their grants, and we had a very successful year of grant applications. And we weren't sure that everybody wanted to do another grant. And they only had 10 days to get it in, and your club and 15 others instantly asked for it. Many clubs put more money with it than what we were able to match. And so that $43,000 was over and beyond what we had already done for grants. Our global grants, we've already expended all of that opportunity. We had to turn down an opportunity in Mexico who wanted to work with us on some DDF money. And we listened to them. We took it offline, looked at our finances, and we went, guys, we've already spent all our money locally. And you know what? That's a great problem. So everybody in the district has worked hard to maintain. And the most important part is that we're all still connected. That's our theme. Rotary connects the world. And things like you all are doing today with your Zoom, with your projects in the community, we've really stayed connected, and that's what's important. So I invite you to the virtual happy hour. We've had virtual happy hours and pep rallies. I invite you to the happy hour tonight. It starts at 5:30, and you have to bring your own beverage. You have to bring your own appetizer, but you get to eat everything you bring. So bring something you like. And the cool thing is, we were so inspired by so many creative people last week that we decided we'd have a crazy hat opportunity. So there were so many funky hats the other night at our last one. So we decided we'd all wear crazy hats. So get your favorite hat or even your team hat, whatever you do, and come join us tonight at 5:30. Everybody got the link yesterday. Thank you.
Beverly, thank you for that. John, you want to jump in there? And
yeah, I think I'll take up where Beverly left off. True, Rotary connects the world, but next year, Rotary opens opportunities. And this is certainly giving us an opportunity to reevaluate the way we connect, the way we do things, and the way we operate. Hopefully we'll be back to normal soon, but we'll have to wait and see. Having said that, the District Assembly is scheduled for May the 16th. And it's iffy whether we're going to hold that live or if we're going to have to reconsider how we do that and pare it back and do it virtually. So we'll have more information coming up on that in the very, very near future. As Beverly said, the 2019-2020 district conference has been canceled. The district governor installation hopefully will be held on June the 25th. The district awards ceremony is going to be held right there at Las Colinas Country Club on July the 18th. And the other thing I was going to mention is that, believe it or not, our membership is increasing. Your club is up 2 members. Our district is up 22 members. We're doing well membership, and from talking to some of my classmates across the 2 zones, it's going everywhere. Everyone seems to be doing well. And I think people are taking advantage of these virtual meetings to increase their membership. So keep it up.
we're working on it. Lori, you want to add anything to Beverly or John's comments?
I only have one thing that they didn't cover, and that's a good bit off. Hopefully we'll be more back to normal then. But the foundation gala was rescheduled for November 14th. So maybe we'll be able to do that in person too.
Just be aware there's a new gang in town.
There is. Now, John, I do want to say there's a live animal crawling around you. I'm assuming you're aware of that, but just in case you weren't, I was going to call that to your attention.
I love that.
And I am not superstitious.
Okay, excellent. Well, let me just continue through our agenda today. I'd asked Bob Bourgeois and Rick Lindsay to take a few minutes and really let our club know what's going on with the flag program. So Bob and Rick, we're going to unmute both your microphones. You can kind of talk between the two of you. And if you have questions for Rick or Bob, then you can let us know, and Jordan will make sure your mic's unmuted. But I do know that Lindy's told me that we've gotten a lot of checks in the last 2 weeks. So people are ready for these flags to go out. But Rick or Bob, who wants to go first?
I think Rick's going to go first.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Well, the flag program is doing well. That's the best thing I can say about it. As you all know, we started the migration to Bill Baxter's software program back in March. And Kathy Howard, as you know, has been the cornerstone for our program over the years, working with Excel spreadsheets. So we've now moved all that over to a software program, and Miss Lindy is learning that program, working with the data, understanding the reports, working on kind of updates and enhancements with Bill Baxter, the creator of the software, he and his team. So accolades to Lindy for the hard work that she's doing. So the good news, yes, we migrated over somewhere around 1,590 flag subscribers, which makes us one of the largest in the district, definitely the largest for the software. We have two groups that handle their flag program independently. We're working with them to make sure that their customers are satisfied. We sent out the Thursday before, let's call it Maundy Thursday, last week, a week from today, we elected to go ahead and send an email to 1,209 subscribers. It had its pros and cons, but at 4:54 on Good Friday morning, I started getting receipts where people were up and subscribing to their flags. So currently, I think the number, we're at 297 subscriptions. Some of those have been where people would mail in a renewal sheet and their monies. Probably 250 or so have been on using our website, Flags Over Irving, which then takes them to a link on the front end of the software, and they can go in and renew their flag, put in their credit card information. It goes right through the system, and so then Lindy can verify, we can verify and take a look at it. So at this point, out of 1,209 emails, I think probably, let's say 250 have responded via email, which is actually pretty good. So we've got a plan. We'll send out probably 2 or 3 more emails. I think what we are experiencing is perhaps some folks' web browsers are picking this up and seeing it maybe as spam. When I checked with a friend of mine here, Las Colinas, I asked him if he'd received it. He said no. I said, check spam. He did, found it renewed. So a little bit of a issue there. We may have to for a special subscription. We did go up from 45 to 50, and that's basically because the pipe or the price has increased. Bob can talk about that in more detail. Software. We're trying to hire so we can use all the roads. We are doing well. Lindy's doing a great job on board to take Rosa's place in the distribution side. Rosa has contacted me, so I think she will stay in the loop to make sure that the distribution continues. Where we will need Rotarians will be that few days right around Memorial Day and Flag Day to go out and install sleeves, because I know Buddy Brown's street has been torn up and rebuilt. Buddy's going to walk the street and kind of tell me what he needs. I know Kathy Howard Street has been rebuilt. So we may have an above normal maintenance effort that needs to take place. So therein is where we'll need some of our new members, because Buddy and some of the gentlemen who've done that in the past are kind of stepping out. So, Mr. President, we'll need your leadership to help us get those teams put together so Lindy can just call on the day of Memorial Day and say, hey guys, I need you to go put out some flags. So enough from me. Bob, go ahead.
That was an excellent summary, Rick.
Thank you, sir.
Rick really has taken the lead. We owe Rick a huge debt of gratitude for taking the lead on the software and working with Kathy Howard and Marley Wilson, with Bill Baxter. I guess Bill is the inventor of the software, the owner of the software. The only issue we've had with the software as far as our program goes is common area flags. So at the moment, you can only, if you go to our original old flagsoverirving.com, you will immediately be transported to Bill Baxter's site. You would not recognize that. It's very quick, almost seamless. Bill's site is a little bit different. The way I explained it to Rick Lindsay, I said, I think he's more of an engineer. So if you've received one of the invoices in your email, it just assumes that you're ready to pay and resubscribe this year, whereas Kathy Howard had a much softer touch, a lot more marketing, and she knew almost everybody that she was sending an email to or trying to contact. So it's a little bit different for some of our folks so far this year. So we're just asking if anyone says anything to you, we're just thanking them for their patience and understanding, because we're trying something new and it's going to take us some time to get it fully implemented. The workaround that Bill came up with for common area is, one of our marketing things, of course, this year is our flag flyer. So we haven't had a chance to distribute any of them thus far. And the places where they would be, like at PJ's or Joe's, are not open. So we're going to have to follow up with the technology that we have available, using email. We still do have some 18-inch by 24-inch yard signs, like the political signs, available. If you know of a heavily trafficked corner where we can put one of those to remind people, that would be terrific. We will have flyers available. So if you want that would be terrific. Into our friends' traffic. If you haven't seen it in your next door, whatever app that is called, Sunday, time, and so there've been 3 or 4 since we got on this morning. So our team will try and get the change to the 2 parts of the program that would have available prior to Memorial Day, production part at the one shed, and people going up to the residential area for sleep. The bill.
Anybody have questions for Bob or Rick about the flag program, the renewal? I would like to have a digital copy of that, Bob, of that brochure, so we can get that. I'm sure it's already on our website, but I want to make sure we get it on Facebook and Instagram and some of the other platforms that our club have recently moved into. All right. Sorry, your mic was muted there, so see if we can. There you go. What was your answer?
We'll get that to you right after lunch.
All right, good. Any other questions for Rick or Bob? Let me just say regarding helping with those sleeves, Rick, I certainly would like to call upon Lazaro, which Lazaro, you're joined our meeting here a few minutes ago, so welcome to the meeting. We're glad you're here.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Good.
So, And Lazaro, I know you're already helping with the flag program to an extent, but when we need to put those sleeves out before Memorial Day and Flag Day, if Lazaro, if you and Jordan, Shane, if perhaps you were available with your son, Marcus, Josh Farrar, Wesley, these are some of our newer members, younger members. I'd like to get maybe a rotating team of those guys that could help out. So we'll speak with you about it. We don't want to put all the work on your backs, but we do want to make sure that we can accommodate. We don't want to take orders for flags and not be able to have sleeves to put them in, or go out to deliver a flag and have a sleeve that's not operational. So we want to make sure that we get that taken care of as best we can. So thank you to Rick, thanks to Bob, and to all the others that work on the flag program. Rick, would you and Bob like to give a shout out to some of the ones that have been helping out with this?
Absolutely. I'll shout out to Bob Bourgeois. He and his knowledge of this flag program is amazing. So Bob has helped me develop written documentation that we can give Lindy and give to Melissa, the lady who will be working with the Boy Scouts. So between Bob and Kathy and Rosa, we have some excellent documentation that will help people new people as they move into the program. So, we still have the good team we've had in the past. And again, I'll give a shout out to Lindy for all she's doing. I will say that there are those signs available at the YMCA shed. Anyone who lives on a prominent street where you get traffic, I would encourage you to go to the Y, get a sign, get a flag, put it up. I have one in front of my home currently, and a lot of people are out walking, so a lot of people may decide to subscribe just seeing the sign. So, yeah, thank you for all you're doing. Mara, thanks for advertising with the group. Lazaro, I know you know how to put in sleeves, so you're the man.
Yes, sir. We got Cody now, too, so he'll be helping us out.
Absolutely.
Right. We're going to add Cody to the list here.
There you go.
I had just a quick update for the club. I'll actually do this a little bit more next week because we've kind of filled our program schedule. I do want to let the club know that just in the last 2 weeks, I've been notified by Ken Lancaster, David Leaf, and Frank King that they're going to be having to resign from their club membership. Ken, as you know, recovering from cancer, not able to attend the meetings. David Leaf has moved to Melissa, which is north of McKinney, and just didn't feel like that he would be able to continue to make the commute. And then Frank King told me in a letter that he's going to be moving back down to the Belton Temple area and perhaps joining a Rotary club down there. When these letters came in, it was right at the beginning of the shelter in place, and there really wasn't much of an option. But really in the last 3 weeks, and I'm going to have my son talk about this in just a moment before we close our meeting, but our club has got a Facebook presence, an Instagram, a Twitter, and as of just a day or two ago, the Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club now has its own YouTube channel. And this meeting today has been recorded. It will be uploaded to all of those sites. And Mara, if you could communicate to our members that for anybody that missed the meeting today, they can go to Twitter, they can go to Facebook, they can go to our website, Instagram, YouTube, and the meeting will be available where they could watch it and get credit for a makeup. But when we come back to our regular club meetings in May, which I'm hoping sometime in May, we're all back at the country club, we're going to begin recording all of our meetings Facebook Live. So those that aren't able to attend can watch the meeting live. And then we will be uploading that meeting to our different social media presence from that time forward. So I tell you that because I'm going to extend to both Ken and David an opportunity, even though they can't physically attend meetings, if they want to stay connected with the club, we'd love for them to be able to do that. I've got more about this. I'll talk next week, but I don't want to run over the time in my very first virtual meeting. So I'm going to give a minute or two to Jordan. So Jordan, you can tell us a little bit about what you've been doing for the club on social media to expand our presence.
Yeah, so really, I flashed all the pages while Mr. President was talking, and I just really would be helpful if everybody can go and at least follow, subscribe on the pages, just so that it shows that you're a member of that group on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. But then also, if you can start sharing content, as I said, YouTube, we're going to begin uploading all the videos in YouTube, and that way there'll be one single location that we're sharing all the content from. So it should be a lot simpler moving forward, but always willing to receive any insight that you guys have as well.
Unmute myself there. Thank you, Jordan. I do know that many of you have some expertise in the social media fields, and we would like to start utilizing that. I'm certainly a newbie in that, but I'm 100% on board with doing everything our club can do to communicate in as many platforms as we can, not just the needs that the community has, but ways that we can work together collaboratively with other organizations to help get things done. Let me just do one final thing, and then we're going to have John Van Buren lead us in our four-way test. But Tracy, you didn't know I was going to call on you. 30 seconds. Can you just tell us real quickly? I know the YMCA is doing an awesome job helping our first responders with childcare. Do you want to just say anything quickly about that?
Yes, absolutely. We have 6 YMCAs throughout our YMCA association that is offering emergency child care to all of our first responders and essential workers. We just also received a huge donation from a church in Plano of $100,000, which is also making this essential child care available for free for some people who may need it. So if you go to www.ymcadallas.org /share stay with us, all of that information will be on there. So if you know of people who are still working and that need childcare, please visit that website to be able to get that information, and they possibly can get it for free. And then we have a couple of sites that are doing blood drives during this time, as well as doing some food distribution. So YMCA is still staying active as much as possible. And then next week, we are kicking off our virtual STEM week for Earth Day, because Earth Day is next week. So we will have virtual STEM opportunities for our children to participate in. So please visit our website there too to get that information, and we're just continuing to serve our community. So.
Well, Teresa, I'm going to give you a little bit more time next week to maybe share about that. So if you want to prepare maybe 3 to 5 minutes next week and give us an update on that. My clock says 1:01, so I'm already keeping you late, but we should have the four-way test banner come up on the screen, and John Van Buren is going to lead us in the four-way test. So there we go. All right, John Van Buren, take it away. Jordan, you're going to have to unmute John's mic.
Thank you.
All right, now you can go. There you go.
I assume you all can hear me. If you would follow me, please. Of the things we think, say, or do, number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Excellent, John. And Jordan, as a point of order, next week when we do the four-way test, I want to have everybody's microphone unmuted so we can hear each other say the four-way test, because I think that's an important part of when we do that. So we're going to adjourn. Each of you have an incredible story because you were part of the very first virtual meeting of the Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club. 85 years it took us to do this.
Oh,
We're
wow.
going to do it again next week. So thanks to Jordan, thanks to Mara, thanks to all of you. And can you please, please, please go to Instagram, go to Twitter, go to LinkedIn, follow this club, indicate that you enjoyed the meeting today, and you see on the screen who was here and who was not here, and let's encourage anybody who was not here to have an opportunity to join us again next week. I have the Salvation Army bell because our other bell's locked up at the country club, so I'm going to ring the bell to adjourn the meeting, all right?
All right.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you all. God bless you. Be safe.
Bye.
We'll see you next week. I'll send you another link. Mara?